Hey guys, not gonna make promises, but I'm gonna try at least to troubleshoot the gizmos with you before you do them. And obviously Mrs. Klein will be able to help as well. But remember the new policy, you have to do them. Okay, you can't just choose to take a C in the class and not do these. So to take a learning target, you've got to do these, and then Mrs. Klein will check your name off that you did it. Some of them will be explicit up here, like do before you attempt LT1. I won't end up having that on all of them, but just know that's the policy. Before you take the learning target, it's based on get the gizmo done. And this one's pretty quick and easy. It's gonna look almost third grade-ish, which is fine. It should be review, all right? So you're gonna drag some things onto a scale. So the simulation you're gonna load is weight and mass. Okay, so remember, it's explorelearning.com. If you don't have a login by now, I don't know where you've been for months, all right? So I guess if you can't figure out your login, that's no excuse. Over in the corner there where all our other papers are stacked up, there is a Gizmo registration site. So I guess you can re-enroll as whoever, Spider-Man, I don't know, all right? So that shouldn't be a problem. But make sure that you find one, and when you load it, you're gonna see some scales. You're gonna see, I wonder if this will work. There we go. You're gonna see that. Okay, if you see that, you know you're in the right spot. And start off here though. These ones, I'm not gonna answer it for you. You should have already taken LT1 notes, and it says your weight is the pull of gravity on your body. Suppose you step on a bathroom scale on the moon. How would your weight on the moon compare to your weight on Earth? So circle A, B, or C. Number 2, your mass is the amount of matter or stuff in your body. How would your mass on the moon compare to your mass on Earth? And circle A, B, or C. So you're gonna put the dog on the pan, okay? On the balance, not on the spring scale. There is a difference, and it will mess you up if you don't see the difference. This is the balance, so put the dog there. This measures weight. That is a spring scale. Balance, spring scale. Okay, make sure you got the difference between those two. Okay, so you put the dog on there, and you're gonna see what happens, and I'm not gonna keep showing you my screen. You should have yours up, and obviously the pan tilts right. Okay, so hopefully if you're still struggling to find the simulation, you can just pause this thing, Mrs. Klein, and wait for everybody to get there. All right, next thing it says is place the 5 kilogram mass on the other pan. So what you should see now is this. So you've got the 5 kilogram mass on the other pan, which means you've got that going on. So that must mean, obviously, that the 5 kilogram mass has more mass than the foo-foo over here on the right. Sorry if you have a foo-foo. I don't mean to offend foo-foo owners here, all right? Number 3, it just tells you what I just told you. But what it wants you to do, okay, is add the masses until you get it to balance. Okay, so you're gonna add masses to the left until the dog and then the pan are the same. And once they are balanced, you're gonna click right in the middle. And you guys know I don't follow directions very well either. But if you click here, it tells you what the numbers are. Okay, so instead of having to count how many things you add them up until they balance. Right, you add them up until they balance. And so I'll give you some time here to figure out how they balance. And I'm gonna guess 20 seconds. So we have 20-second moment of silence. All right, so you probably had to drag some things and replace some things, or you might have just been the super smart person you are and figured out, well, if the dog is 2370, then I must have to have 2,370 grams to balance it. Remember, you click in the middle of the balance, and that tells you the numbers on both sides. All right, first page is done. And we flip. On the back, So activity A, I don't see anything that's going to mess you up considerably. Just remember the difference between the devices. So the thing on the right, that is a spring scale is what they're going to call it. Make sure it's right here. Okay, so the spring scale is the thing on the right. Don't forget that. Okay, that guy, it's measured in newtons. And you'll just predict, so you're going to take a guess. You're going to measure the weights of the following objects on Earth, Moon, Mars, and Jupiter. So you can change location right up here. Okay, you change the location of where it's at. And the only thing I can think of, a celestial body, very fancy. Okay, all that means is which planet. So in other words, if I put the pumpkin on the scale and then I measure the weight on Earth, the Moon, the Mars, Jupiter, that must be the one that has the most gravity. And you'll just explain that down here. So don't just write Moon without any explanation. You have to know why that's going to show up on Learning Target 1. Next page, activity B. You are going to skip number 5. So hopefully you haven't tuned me out yet. You're going to skip number 5. You can do the little squiggle. And then on the back page, one thing I noticed that kind of hit on me is what you're doing for this. Make sure you're using the 5 kilogram mass. Okay, so the 5 kilogram mass means you're using this thing, right? The mass, not the scale so much, but you're using that to figure out its weight. And it tells you how to calculate the weight on in these locations. But think of it this way, it's going to be the object's weight. So object's weight, and you divide it by 5. Remember, weight is in newtons. Okay, so it's whatever you get earlier. Okay, collect the data. Whatever you get there, divide it by 5. You get those answers, and you can skip the last one. This should not take long. It's going to feel elementary-like, and that's okay. Appreciate the ease of this, because this unit gets a little more intense, to say the least. All right, so do a good job. Show Mrs. Klein. She'll check your name off, and then turn this in. I will get to it this weekend. Okay, I will get to it this coming weekend. So make sure you get it done, show her, take LT1, and that should be it. Have a good one, guys.